Heading into the holiday season, or depending on whenever you're watching this video for your own preference, of course, gamer gifts are always very popular, and since certain graphics cards and things are very hard to come by, well, maybe it's time to upgrade your peripherals instead. And Corsair has two headsets at the exact same MSRP, $100 US, which makes it a bit complicated. Which one do you pick? Personally, I have a favorite, but we'll talk about both, why one may be better than the other depending on your friends or whoever's gift that you're giving this to preferences are. And of course, we'll test out the microphone and talk a little bit about the build quality and the comfort level for each of these headsets. Today we're talking about the Corsair VOID RGB Elite wireless as well as the HS70 Pro wireless. Now, both are very similar in a number of different ways. They both offer 7.1 surround audio. They both have microphones attached to them, although you can detach it with the HS70, whereas you cannot do that with the VOID Elite. Both require a USB dongle to connect it to the computer. Both do feature a USB port, so you can have it wired if you would like, to keep it forever charged. It'll also charge while you're using it, which is a really big plus, although a negative for both. For some reason, they both use micro USB, literally the worst USB connector. Can we please switch to USB Type-C for everything? That would be fantastic. One headset, the HS70 Pro, has a bit more of a premium look to it. It doesn't look as gamery, I guess you can call it, kind of like this subtle black with gold accents, which will actually look really, really nice. The VOID Elites, there's a few different versions. There's the all black version. I personally like this black and white version. Has more of kind of a stormtrooper look to it. This one also has RGB. Of course, the biggest thing in gaming is RGB. Probably makes it that much better. But if you do have a fancy for RGB, the VOID Elite is the way to go there. When you look at the actual specs for these, I mean, it really is very similar wall to wall. Battery life, 16 hours, 16 hours. I think that might be a bit of a stretch, but I could easily get 10 to 12 hours out of both of these headsets. Battery life, very, very good for both of these. They both have a range up to 40 feet. I do think that's pretty good. I do also think that's pretty reasonable. I can walk upstairs to my kitchen and still have it connected to my computer, so I think the range is pretty spot on, about 40 feet. I think that makes sense for both of these headsets. And here's an up-close look at the Corsair VOID RGB Elite wireless headset. Fits very comfortably, either with a hat, without a hat, even with glasses for long durations of time. Don't have any issues with it. The microphone doesn't sound terrific, but it's definitely pretty good, all things considered. It does come with an included foam pop filter overhead, but as long as it's not like right in the path of your mouth, generally speaking, it tends to be okay. It does have the mute button and power buttons on the side.
Mic off. Mic on.
One hit to mute the microphone. It also blinks up red to show you that it is muted. Kind of a handy little feature there. Also auto mutes.
Mic off.
If you do
Mic on.
bring the microphone boom up. So that's kind of nifty as well. Fits very comfortably. I really do like the soft padding on the very top of it. Build quality, very solid. These have taken bit of a beating from time to time, and they tend to be rock solid headsets. And then here we have the HS70 Pro. It has a little bit more of a premium look to it. It doesn't look as gamery per se. The RGB accents are a little bit missing compared to the VOID Elite. Again, these are at the same price point. The microphone, it's amazing how different these headsets can possibly sound. A lot more bass to this one. It does sound a little bit less realistic to life, I guess. They fit pretty comfortably. The one thing I do not like about these headsets, though, it's the top cushion here. It's really uncomfortable for a long duration of time. I really don't like it. It just feels like it's always pushing. Might be a personal preference there. But overall, they're a really nice headset. And the one thing I really like about this microphone and headset combo, this is a detachable noise-canceling unidirectional microphone, while this is an optimized omnidirectional microphone. Essentially, the HS70 Pro will sound a little bit better in a more of a louder space. It's really focused on you as opposed to a little bit more around you. The HS70 Pro wireless will be a little bit better in a louder situation, maybe like an office or something like that. When talking about the audio quality, it's really hard to do a video on testing of the audio. Just know that both of these headsets do sound very good in terms of audio. With the HS70 Pro inside the iQ software that we're editing here, definitely make sure you have just the stereo set. The 7.1 on the HS70 Pro really doesn't sound that good. EQ presets, I use FPS competition. I think that's the best way to go there. And of course, inside the software, you can create your own and edit this as much as you would like. So you have a lot of flexibility with that there. And of course, you can just delete that profile. Going into the VOID Elite, of course, you have the only ability here is the lighting effect. So you can change the lighting effect as much as you would like. I prefer just a subtle rainbow. In the EQ, definitely do like the 7.1 surround sound on these headsets. I think it sounds really, really sharp on the VOID Elite. I do think the sound quality is better, especially in gaming on the VOID Elite. That's my personal preference. Do think the FPS competition remains the best EQ preset there, and same thing, you can create your own if you would like. So again, to summarize, both, you have a lot of abilities and settings you can change. You can see I'm plugged in, actually using it right now. You can see it is charging while it's plugged in. I can turn off those voice prompts you heard before when it comes to the mic being muted. And also I would shut off the auto shut off because sometimes it can be a bit of a false negative. They both have a good amount of stretch depending on how big your head is. They also both have a good amount of retraction on the headset too. I will say if you have a particularly large head, the VOID Elite actually is a little bit bigger of a size than the HS70s. The VOID Elite is kind of more of a clothy presence on the microphone cup, and I have to say it's really, really comfortable to use. I can use this microphone without a doubt 12 plus hours without it being annoying, and it's really comfortable for whatever I'm doing. When it comes to the HS70s, these microphone cups are a little bit more sound isolating, so you don't hear as much around you, but the material is more of, not quite leather, but the material is just a lot different with the HS70s. And I do find myself, if I'm using it for like a long duration amount of time, it can get kind of sweaty underneath the cups here, which kind of gets a bit annoying. Whereas I'm sure I'm sweating wearing these, but it doesn't feel as annoying on the skin. So I also give in terms of the feel ability, I also give the edge to the VOID Elites. In terms of like overall build quality, I do think the HS70 Pros are a better microphone. I do think these are built better. The VOID Elites, they are a bit loose. Also just subtle differences between the microphones, including like button placement. For example, on the VOID Elite, you have the mute button and the power button on the side, whereas the HS70, you have the mute button is kind of on the back, and then the power button is on the other side, which is kind of nice so you don't hit the wrong button. I do like that about the HS70s more, although to power up you have to hit and hold on the VOID Elite, so I don't really think you would accidentally hit power instead of mute, but it is kind of nice to have the buttons on different sides as a personal thing. The other thing too, in terms of the audio, the HS70s have a very clear maximum audio and minimum audio on the slider, where with the VOID Elite, it kind of can just keep going forever. So bring it back to the conclusion time for this. As I let off the video, I do believe the VOID RGB Elite wireless does have the advantage. I think it is more comfortable, and especially more comfortable for a long duration of time. These things are very, very nice on the head. They also fit, I think, larger people. I think that's a really nice benefit to the VOID Elite wireless. The HS70, I like the I/O more. I do like the buttons, I do like the volume slider more. Also, I think the build quality is better with the HS70s. But all of those things considered, I do believe I give the edge to the VOID RGB Elite wireless. Like this video if you liked it. Leave a comment if you have a question or a suggestion on why you might like one headset over the other. And of course, subscribe for more videos, and we'll see you again at the next video.